Hey guys, I'm Anson9132, and I'm the Robot Wars Guru. Now a few months ago you may remember that I made a video asking up to 5 people to qualify or attempt to qualify for an account Mayhem of mine. As I said, it was first come first serve, and thankfully quite a few people did come forward with some ideas and some designs. Obviously I picked the first 5 because that was the decision I made. And now they're all built, so I decided to make this video where I'm not only going to show off all 5 of them, but I'm also going to show off the other 11 robots that will be competing that I had picked to compete before I made that video. So I'm going to split this into 3 parts. The first part is going to be showing you guys those 5 robots that were recommended in that video. Then I'm going to show you the veterans, so the robots that competed in the last account Mayhem I did, or the robots representing YouTubers that did compete in that last account Mayhem, and then I'm going to be showing you guys the newcomers that had been asked before I made that video, so people who already were asked but weren't in the last account Mayhem, if that makes any sense, which it probably doesn't because it's me and I don't make any sense. And as a test subject I'm going to be using this. Now any of you who watched my how to build a gravity replica video will recognise this very well. This is the gravity replica I made for that video. So yeah, should be some good fun seeing this get thrown around, hit with axes, crushed by crushers. Should be good fun all around. Also, sorry if some things are out of focus or if some things don't quite look right. I'm testing out a different camera. It's my wife's camera. I have no clue what the hell I'm doing with it, so I'm sort of figuring it out at the moment. So yeah, please be patient with that sort of thing as well. So first up, representing Mr. Liamland, we have Robo Salah, named after Mohamed Salah, or Mo Salah, which is a footballer for Liverpool as well as the Egyptian national football team. Cool. It's got RS on it, which is what he asked for. On the back it's got the number 35, which is the number of goals they apparently scored last season. I don't know how, because it's Liverpool and they never score anything, but there we go. Everton for the win, sorry mate. He wanted a wedge-shaped robot that was 2-wheel drive, that had a flipper, and I believe I've done a good job on that. I've also given it the sort of Apollo-esque lip at the bottom, so basically when it flips it sort of does this, but it doesn't flip itself up and over. So yeah, that's Robo Salah. Next up, representing Mr. BK, is Slapshot. Now, Slapshot is a robot that he made on Robot Arena 2, I believe to take part in Rebottle Wars, though I'm not too sure. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, it's a blue box shaped design, 4-wheel drive. These are wheels from a basically a model car kit thing, and then it's got a flipper as well as a spiked wedge with a frame around it, which basically protects the wheels. I also managed to get the old angry face in there. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So there we go. Moves quite fluidly when it wants to. It is a bit of a pain, but I can get it to do what I want it to do. I hope that is what you were looking for, Mr. BK. Next up, representing Razor 1905, is Darkspine. He asked for a chronic, the wedge hog shape with a flipper, and basically for it to be coloured black with a purple flipper. Originally he wanted it to be called Tempest, but Tempest is the name of a robot that's already going to be competing in RWA Cataclysm in the New Blood Championship, so I couldn't double name, so he instead picked the name Darkspine. I believe Tempest is actually a house robot in his series. Go check that out, by the way. Small Scale Robot Wars. Good show. With that being said, it is a powerful flipper, and I do mean that when I say that. This could actually be a dark horse to watch out for. Very, very strong flipper. Obviously I intend to make my flippers powerful, but I was quite surprised at just how powerful this thing can be, so definitely watch out for Darkspine. Next up, representing World of Woodrum, Redux. Brilliant design on his part, this one really is, looks really, really cool. He wanted a wedge-shaped robot with spinner deflecting side wedges, see-through side armour, because it's World of Woodrum and he really likes his complicated designs. Thanks for that one, mate, really appreciate it. And he wanted a powerful front hinge flipper as the weapon which he does have. And as a little homage to his designs, I've given it some Lego wheels. You can actually see them moving through the plastic. I don't know, I'm pretty certain you can't see it really from where you are, but it does look really, really cool. I'm really happy with how it came out. This took, honest to God, ages to make. So again, cheers, man. I really appreciate the hours of stress you made me go through to make sure this thing would be built. But I built it nonetheless, and I'm really happy with how it looks overall. Could it do well? Potentially. It's quite quick and nimble, very nippy. The flipper can self-wipe the machine as well, so with any luck they could do very well. And last but not least of the 5 application robots, I guess you could call them, we have Doomsday, representing Shadowscope FSM. God, I hope I said that right now, because I'm not looking at my screen. He wanted a box wedge shaped robot with a axe to be coloured black with some flame decals, which is what it's got. Now I do have to apologise. Unfortunately, I couldn't give it a 2-wheel drive, 2 external wheel drive. It just would not work. No matter what I did, it kept making the structure too weak. It kept falling apart. It just didn't work. So instead, I've given it a 4-wheel drive chassis, and hopefully that will mean that it can get a lot more pushing done. So basically, the idea is to bulldoze robots and then really smack them with the axe. The axe is very good, by the way. It comes down with a lot of force. I decided to make it out of Connects because, yeah, it's a very, very good way of making an axe. Hope you like it. Sorry about the issue, like I said, with the 2-wheel drive. It just wasn't working for me. And it wouldn't have been anywhere as effective if I'd done that. So hopefully you can look past that, and hopefully you like this, man. I really do apologise. And yeah, hopefully it'll do the business for you. So next up, it's time to introduce all the veterans of the account Mayhem. So this is robots that are representing YouTubers that were represented in my last account Mayhem that I did all those years ago. It was crap, don't bother watching it. There are going to be spoilers, but it doesn't matter because it was rubbish, so it doesn't matter. With that being said, representing my good friend Master Rath, it is of course Master Rath 3. The actual first ever Master Rath represented him last time, and he lost in the second round, if I'm right in remembering. This is obviously 2 machines later. You guys saw this in the Christmas special. It's got a very powerful flipper, as we all know, as is accustomed with the Master Rath machines these days. Actually, since they've actually been made. Didn't do very well on the Christmas special, not going to lie. Hopefully it will do better in the account Mayhem. It is due to be seeded in RWA Rebirth Series 3, number 15 I believe. Again, I haven't got the actual numbers in front of me, but I believe that's meant to be its seeding. So who knows, hopefully it can live up to that in the account Mayhem. Next up, representing Cat Banana, or Smads Extreme, whatever you want to call him, it is Takai 3. Now, Takai 3 was Takai 1 in the original account Mayhem. It lost in the first round after being flipped over. Now it has a self-riding mechanism, so it still has its bar spinner, and it's a very big, very heavy bar spinner, but it also has these little self-righting wings, so if it gets flipped over, it can now right itself. Will that be the key testament it needed in order to do well? Because Takai has always been a robot that's sort of been underestimated, really. It hasn't really, not underestimated, underwhelming, sorry. It's never really hit its full potential, so who knows. Now with this remake, hopefully it can do better. And speaking of big spinny things made out of Connects, next up it's Sucker Punch, and this is of course representing Steve the American Killjoy. Now Steve the American Killjoy competed in my last account Mayhem as Connects Roboteer with a robot called Connects Ripper. It didn't do very well. It lost in the first round after being flipped out of the arena, if memory serves correctly. Hopefully this will be much, much better. It's made out of Connects. It's got this big spinning frame, and then it has these 2 weights on there, which will obviously hit robots when it spins up to speed, and hopefully cause them a lot of damage. And it looks like this. Very powerful, as you can see. Hopefully this time around, Steve will have a little bit more luck in the account Mayhem. Next up, representing my good friend Sam Elliott 64 is of course 64. This is, hang on, let me think now, the 7th robot I've built for him. Yes, that's how many I've built for him, because every single series has a different machine. This is not the machine that's going to be representing him in Rebirth 3, by the way. That's 95.5, which I can't show you right now because it's unavailable. Hooray. But this is the machine that's going to be representing him in the account Mayhem. He wanted a sort of a modern terahertz shape, which I think I've succeeded in doing. It's got the little prongy things, at least, which is the main thing. And he wanted a spinner deflecting bulldozing bucket scoop thingamajigger, which again I've done. As you can see, it's sort of connected at the bottom, and then here it's just sort of there. So that should help deflect spinners. And of course the main story, however, is its weapon. It is this huge hammer. As you can hear, it makes a heck of a lot of noise, and it's very heavy. That head is a AA battery. This thing will hurt a lot of robots. The only problem is it's a little top heavy because of it, so it is a little hard to control, but it's great fun. It looks awesome. I love the silver and pink. Those are his choices, by the way, not mine. Pink, as far as I'm concerned, belongs in the bin, but he wanted it to be silver and pink, so that's what he got. Hopefully this will do the business for him, because last time around he, get this, lost in the first round in a matter of I think 3 seconds. I think he got flipped out there in like 3 seconds, so hopefully it'll do better this time for him. The penultimate robot representing the veterans of the account Mayhem is Rosco, representing Rosco Whitey, or Ross W, or whatever the hell you want to call him. The Scottish bloke who helps Sam and I occasionally. Isn't that lovely? This is a rebuild and a adaptation on his previous machine, Rosco Whitey, which of course competed in the last account Mayhem. It was a roadblock type robot with a crusher at the back and an axe on the front. It did very well actually in the last account Mayhem. He actually came 3rd. So this is basically the Firestorm, I guess you could call it, of the account Mayhem. As you can see, I've completely updated it since then. It was red, now it's blue and white to represent the colours of the Dundee Football Club. I don't know why, to be honest. Dundee's a terrible team, terrible city really. Sorry Ross, love you really. But yeah, it's got the little Scottish flag on each side. And then of course it actually has its weaponry, which is this axe, which is now made with a scalpel blade instead of a pin, so it should puncture robots a lot better. And on the back, the crushing claw, which also has a scalpel blade in it, so again should be much better piercing armour. And finally, the last veteran of the original account Mayhem is of course Jim Maniac, representing, you guessed it, Jim Maniac, another very good friend of mine, very close friend of mine actually. We have collaborated quite a few times, and we hope to do so again in the future. So yes, now the original machine representing Jim Maniac was a robot called Robot Wars Fan 03. Why Robot Wars Fan 03? Because that's what he was called at the time, and we didn't have any imagination, so we couldn't think of another name for it. This is a vastly different machine. The old one was a flipper, a wedge-shaped flipper. This one is a drum spinner. The old one was blue and yellow. This one's black, white and green to match Jim's logo. And yeah, it's just a heck of a much more different design than the old machine. How well did Jim do last time? Well, he actually won the account Mayhem. So although since Rebirth happened, obviously all the titles were basically vacated, I guess you could say. Technically this is our returning champion. Although he's no longer a champion, technically this is the reigning champion, if you want to look at it that way. So expect high things from it. It is awesome. I'm really happy with it. He's really happy with it. Hopefully it will do very well. And now all we have left is 5 newcomers to the account Mayhem that weren't in the application video that I did 4 months ago. First of all, representing Tenter Jester, it's Binky. Now, Binky, funny story really, Tenter Jester and Jim Maniac, as you know, are very, very good friends. We all are good friends, to be honest. And he made, but basically, he asked me to build this to spite Jim Maniac, because this is one of Jim's least favourite robots. So, yes, representing him is Binky. I think I did a pretty accurate job of it. As you can see, it's got the battle sled, I guess you could call it, or whatever it was, on the nose. It was stupid, whatever it was. It's got the skull. It's yellow. It's got that weird shape. This is actually made out of a one of those coin pots you get at arcades. So yeah, and as you can see, it moves just like the real thing. Absolutely no control. Very noisy. Very quick. Too quick for its own good, really. And yeah, that is Binky. Well, it would be, but there's a little bit more to discuss about it. Basically, like I said, this was made to spite Jim Maniac, so Owain, being Owain, asked me to make the base Jim Maniac's logo. And I, of course, had to oblige. Oh god, I can already feel Jim killing me. And as you can see, these 2 Lego cogs make the wheels. They're really, really quick, really, really agile. And like I said, it really does make the robot barely controllable, just like the real thing. Oh, for God. You know what? Screw it. Next up, representing Mr. Psycho, it is Strike. This was the one that I had the least instructions for, to be honest. I asked Mike if he wanted to take part. He said yes. I asked him, what do you want me to build? He said he didn't care as long as it was really weird and had saws for wheels. So that's exactly what I'd done. It's got Lego cogs to represent saws. Those are its wheels. It's got this on the back. Now this is a bowling ball. Because as we all know, Mr. Psycho loves bowling. The whole idea is that this little mechanism releases the ball, and that is supposed to sort of like get in the way of robots and trip them up and all that, which of course it won't because it's a rubber ball, but it's for fun. And then on the front it's got a lifting weapon which also spins around, a bit like Tazbots, because when thinking of wild crazy weapons I of course immediately think Tazbot. Also, it's an American robot. As we all know, Mr. Psycho is American. He's really happy with how it came out. I'm really happy with how it came out. It probably won't do very well, but it's going to be a good laugh nonetheless. Come on, hit it. Hit it. Thank you. Next up, representing Alex the Hunted, is Mad Rush. Now, this is obviously a replica of his featherweight robot of the same name. It's a box-shaped robot with a 4-wheel drive, blue wheels, because blue wheels are awesome, and it has a lifting mechanism, which also has these spinner deflectors, and of course, it can self-right. Now, Alex seemed to be pretty happy with the replica. I'm pretty happy with it. Will it do well? Only time will tell, really. Next up, representing Vote Saxon 07, it is Nightmare Fuel. When asking him what he wanted, basically he turned around and said that he wanted a robot that looked a lot like Interstellar MLL, or MML, or whatever it was, just less shit. And that's what I've done, basically. I've gone for the same sort of shape and design. Obviously it's a bit flatter, a bit lower, a bit more sleek and stealthy. A bit like Mute in a lot of ways, in that it's small but compact. It's got these side wedges which help deflect spinners, and it of course has the front hinged flipper. And it also has on the bottom a cheap gag. Hopefully you can read that. If you can't, it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. Hopefully it'll do well, but like I said, only time will tell, really. And last, but by no means least, representing 2 penny milk, it is Greed. basically, story behind this one, I asked Anthony what I wanted him to build, well sorry, what he wanted me to build I should say, and he asked me to make a model of his, unfortunately now retired, heavyweight Greed, but with a front hinge flipper. Which is what I did. I'm really happy with how this one came out. I did one beforehand and it looked absolutely fucking terrible, I'm not even going to lie. This is just so much better. It looks just like the real thing, well, as much like the real thing as it possibly could. It's got the flipper, it's got a little CO2 piston in there as you can see. It's got a red base plate with yellow wheels because that's just really cool for some reason. It can even self-right. Oops, there we go. It really is. I'm just so happy with how this has turned out. And that concludes this video. To the 5 people, the first 5 machines, please let me know down below if you're happy with them, if there's anything I can do to them to update them. I really did try my hardest, so sorry if they aren't what you were hoping for. As for everybody else, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience. I know it's been taking a long time. I'm a pain in the ass, I get that. My wife gets it. Everyone gets it. And I do apologise, but at the end of the day, I can only be myself, and being myself means I'm a pain in the ass. So, with that being said and done, I'm Nance9132, the Robot Wars Guru. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.